Well, if you don't know yet, I am streaming from my lovely phone. So while I arrange this little setup, which might from time to time something happened to him because well, streaming on the phone it's not that easy. So I'm going to talk about this book, Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. The book is in Romanian, but I'm going to do my best into translating it. So it's quite a small book. It's easy to read. So actually this I borrowed it from a friend of mine. So what's the story of this book? Jeff Keller, I'm going to do my best into translating from Romanian to English. So yeah, so Jeff Keller graduated Hamilton College in 1976 and he got a diploma in law at Hofstra University School of Law in 1980. So he practiced to be a lawyer for 10 years before dedicating himself to motivational career. So yes, so he wasn't happy with the job and he decided to change that. So at the beginning of the book, there is a quote by Thomas Jefferson: "Nothing can stop the man with a right mindset to fulfill his purpose. Nothing from this world can help the man that has the wrong attitude." So yes, quite relevant. I'm gonna try not to move so much because I think that the light from my phone, it's like it's not easy. So yes, so he says that this book is dedicated to his wife Dolores for believing in me and for encouraging me to follow my dreams. So in the first pages he says a lot of thanks to a lot of people, to God, to his parents, to his brother, to friends. So he has a lot of quotes in the book. At the every chapter he has a quote, and the introduction is called "The Night That Changed My Life." And there is a quote by William James, something like this: "The biggest discovery of my generation is that the human beings are able to change their lives by modifying their attitude." So, as they say, reality is perception. So I think it's more important how you behave to things that happen to you rather than thinking about what happens to you. So yeah, so he at the beginning the author says a lot about his personal life, that in 1981 he got married with Dolores. He was like he met her during like university. But he started to say that he was quite unhappy with his personal life and with his career. He managed to become a lawyer, but he was in agony. He described the feeling of being terrified to go to work. So actually he worked so much to become a lawyer only for being terrified to go to that job. So yes, so after he got 30 years old, he was exhausted. So in one night, sitting on a couch, he told to himself that there must be more to my life than this. There must be more than suffering and misery. So yes, imagine learning so many years to become a lawyer and only to discover the fact that you're not happy. So while he was like on a couch late at night, he was watching TV, and he saw something on a TV, like a commercial to a product called the Mental Bank. It was a product presented by Flores Henderson, and there was like this course. It was a course, the Mental Bank. It was a home course. And it said that everything that we get in life is based on our subconscious decisions. So actually, Jeff Keller admits into being so desperate and so unhappy and so frustrated with his lawyer life that he actually ordered this online course from TV. So yeah, life gets you places. So after he told to his wife that he ordered this online course about changing your mental attitude, his wife was really shocked because she knew him. So yeah. Yes, I'm not actually reading the whole book. I'm trying to explain what the book is all about. So it's actually, I'm trying to let people in about this book, and maybe they will read it. So I'm not actually reading page by page. So yes. So after Jeff Keller received this program, the Mental Bank at home, he was fascinated. So being a lawyer, being quite unhappy with his life, Jeff Keller started reading a lot of motivational books. He started with Napoleon Hill, with Norman Vincent Peale, with Robert Schuller. So he listened to Zig Ziglar, to Earl Nightingale, to everybody. So actually it was quite important for him to change his life. So actually he puts, like in the book, he puts little quotes from certain authors. So I love this feeling. It's not actually an entertaining book. It's more like a motivational book. So her purpose is not to entertain you. Her purpose, the purpose of this book is to light up your mind. So yes. So actually he explains how after ordering this book, he continued to study on his own. So Jeff Keller didn't give up his job as a lawyer instantly. Nothing happened overnight. So after he started to study this in 1989, after 4 years of studying this new domain, he accepted to do some seminars, educational seminars for adults. He was paid with $30 for each course of 2 hours. So that was not enough for him to abandon his work. So he describes the first feeling when he got himself into the first presentation for adults, and he was very, very nervous. So in 1990 he decided to abandon his lawyer career and to invest in his new in his new found domain. So yes, he's describing his difficulties, his financial problems, because as a lawyer he had a lot of income at his disposal, but changing your job at almost 40 years old, it's quite not easy. So he describes that his mother was quite disappointed because she was very proud to tell to a lot of people that my son is a lawyer. So yes, but after that, his mother was quite supportive. So yeah, it's quite interesting read this book, and not only to read it, but to realize that the author as well had a lot of experience, so he's actually practicing what he's preaching. So that's quite important. He's not only telling us what to do, but he actually did it himself. So yes, so he is saying that it's very important to have a positive mindset, and it's also very important to apply every successful strategy from this book. So actually it's a combination of attitude plus the right strategy. So yes, so he's describing the book. It has like 3 parts. In part 1, it's called like the roots of success are in the mind. So in the first part, he's focusing over the power of attitude and the power of your own conviction that you will be able to shape your own destiny. You will learn that success depends first of all of the way that you're thinking. So your thinking is very, very important. In part 2, which is called Be Careful at What You're Saying, he focuses on the way that you are speaking. So your attitude is reflected by your own words. So you can use your language, your positive language, to reach your purposes. In the third part of the book, it's called The Divinity Helps the Ones That Do Something. So this is, I'm actually trying to translate this book into language, into English language, but it's not quite the same, but yeah. So he says in the third part that even if you think positive and you talk positive, you won't get your dreams accomplished unless you're actually going to do something. So you have to think it, speak it, and then do it. So it's very, very important. So this is the first part. The first part is about the roots of success are in your mind. So it has quite a nice quote. It says that success is a mental state. If you want to have success, you have to begin to think of yourself as a success, as being a successful person. So yes, it's very important also how you perceive yourself. So yes. So lesson number 1, as he says, it's that the attitude is your window through the world. So it's very important. He makes a metaphor. Actually, this window that he's talking about is our attitude, and he explains how it's very important to keep our window clean. So what does that mean? That means that everything that makes our windows dirty is our bad thoughts, our negative thoughts, are the thoughts of others that tell us you can't do that or you can't achieve that. So it's quite important to ignore. So there is a quote by George Bernard Shaw: "It's better to keep yourself clean and sparkly. You are the window through which you have to see the world." So you have to really be careful with your own attitude. So he says about a story of two people walking into a coffee shop. Sarah and Sam. Sarah entered the coffee shop happy, joyful, and she enjoyed her coffee. Sam entered in the coffee shop being upset, grumpy, tired. So Keller explains how they have been in the same place, but their perception of their experience is different. So why is that? It's because of their attitude. So of course that if you're grumpy, and wherever you go everything will seem horrible just because you have that attitude. So Keller says that attitude is like a mental filter. So you have to think that you have to focus on solutions, you have to find the positive things of others, you have to be grateful for everything that you have and to see the possibilities. So it's quite important. So yes, and now he says that he makes a comparison with kids, that kids and children have their windows very clean because they have no knowledge of failure and no knowledge of disappointment. So they get down and they get up, they get down and they get up, so they never give up, never. So he says that we should take that quality of children that never give up, so not to turn into grumpy adults, but always get up. So he says that our windows are getting dirty because of disappointments, doubts, rejections, and ridicule. So when you are being ridiculed by parents, by friends, your window is getting dirty. You start to believe that you can't do it. So yes, a balance. I think it requires a balance, not to be overly unrealistically positive, but also not to get yourself down. So yes, he talks about a very well-known person in this motivational area. It's about Viktor Frankl and his book, A Man's Search for Meaning. So I've read that book and I recommend it to you. And he says that it's very important, and Viktor Frankl said that as well, that you can take everything from a person, everything, but you can't take their ability to change their attitude. So yes, Viktor Frankl was during Holocaust, he was in a camp, it was a prison, so yeah, it's quite inspiring to hear from that person. So yes, so it's very important to keep positive. He explains this metaphor of always cleaning up the windows. So it's normal to have bad days, it's normal for getting like negative feedback. Not all people will approve of you, some people won't like you. but it's important to believe in your dreams. So he explains that. So lesson number 2 in here, and he says that you are a magnet, you are a human magnet. So he begins with a quote from Henry Ford, that even that you think you can, even if you think you can't, you are right. So he talks about a quote from Earl Nightingale that says, "We become what we think we will become." So yes, it's very important. If you think low of yourself, if you think of yourself, no, I can't do that, or I'll never be able to, or I'll never go to, or you will end up there. So it's quite very important to believe. And another quote that I really liked from Benjamin Disraeli: "Feed your mind with great thoughts." So yes, our mind is quite a treasure, and I think it's very important to feed it with the right thoughts. So if you're constantly thinking of a purpose, you will slowly reach it. So he gives us an example. Let's say that a certain man, which we'll be calling Fred, thinks he's capable of making $30,000 per year. Just like a human magnet, Fred will attract those opportunities of employment that will help him go into that direction. But if Fred would start to think that I would like to win more money to cover my family expenses, I want to earn $50,000. So it depends on how much you want it, and it depends on how much you really believe you are capable of doing it. So the idea of we will become what we think will become, it's called the law of the dominant thinking. So so dominant, so you have to the keyword is dominant. You can't expect to have positive results when you only spend 10 seconds per day thinking positively, and the other 16 hours is dedicated to negative thinking. So you have to really make positive thinking like over 80% of your thinking overall. Hello, Adam. Hello. This is the book I am reading. Actually, it's in my mother language, but I'm trying to do my best into translating into English. So it's about the power of attitude and the power of reshaping the way that you think. So I'm currently streaming from my phone, so maybe you'll notice that at all, but I hope the quality is rather okay. So Jeff Keller gives us another example from his personal life. He wanted very much to buy some houses for just investing his money. So he describes how he constantly visualized those houses. So he made himself like a timeline. I want by the end of 1987, 1986 to have 2 houses that I will buy. So he kept on insisting on that. So he kept on doing that. So yes, he describes that on 29th of December, just before 2 days before the ending of the year, he managed to buy the second house. So he kept on visualizing, he kept on wanting it. So when you visualize your purpose and you really want it, it's actually going to happen. So what did he do in order to get there? So he said that he worked a lot of his time thinking about it, and not only that, he contacted a lot of real estate agents, and he kept on viewing houses, always, always, always. So he fed his mind with this thought of buying 2 houses. So yes, so he makes a parallel with relationships, with jobs, with everything. Like the people that always say, I never got the right boyfriend or girlfriend, and it's the attitude. If your thoughts won't change, the results won't change either. So if people believe, like if a person believes I don't deserve anything more, they won't get anything more. So I think that it's quite important to believe that you deserve more and you will get more. So yeah. So another thing that Jeff Keller says is that repetition is the key. Step 1. So he gives us a kind of a couple of guides in order to achieve this positive mindset. And the step 1 is to read every day motivational literature to brighten your mood. So 15 to 30 minutes in the morning. So it's also a good idea to read, to read motivational literature also before going to bed. So yes, it's quite important to maintain a constant level of reading this kind of books, because it trains your mind. Step 2, listen to motivational speeches or cassettes or whatever you can listen. So you can listen or podcasts. You can listen them into your car while you are going somewhere, during exercise. The key is repetition. So Keller says that positive thinking, it's not something that it just happens. It's not something that I do 10 minutes per day. It has to be a lot. It has to be like 80% of it. It's like a muscle. It has to be trained. It's not like, okay, I'll just be positive. No, I have to discipline myself into being more positive. So yes. So Keller says that if you are reading positive and you're reading and you are listening, oh, you're so funny, Adam. Yeah, and you're listening to motivational things, you will start to notice a major difference in your life. So he says that change the way you're thinking and you'll change your life. You are becoming what you're thinking. It's actually very true. It sounds so cliche, but it's true. And he says that it's very important not to expect immediate success. So he wants to make it clear, and I agree with him, that positive thinking and our thoughts, it doesn't mean that you'll achieve it overnight. It doesn't mean that, okay, in 1 month I'll be reading so much motivational books and so many that I have to reach success. No, it's a slow process. And he says success requires effort, commitment, and patience. Positive thinking doesn't mean that you won't be having problems. So problems don't stop. Problems will always occur. But it's about the resilience. So positive thinking helps you be more resilient in front of obstacles. So that's important. So he made practical steps, and he made a metaphor at the beginning of the book that our attitude is like a window, and we have to keep our window clean. So keeping our window clean means not listening to naysayers, not taking rejection and failures like something permanent. Failures happen. Failure is a lesson, it's a process, it's not a decisive thing. So yeah, so lesson number 3 from the book, it's called Imagine Your Way to Success. So he begins with a quote from Alex Morrison. Before being able to realize a thing, you have to foresee it clearly. So you have the power of imagination. So imagination takes you anywhere. So you have to imagine and have a vision. So yeah. So he talks about Celine Dion in interview with her, and he says, Keller, that Celine Dion was asked if she dreamed that she will be making millions of dollars, and her answer was, I wasn't surprised because I've been imagining it since I was 5 years old. So that's why Celine Dion got rich, and not only she got rich, she got known. She imagined herself becoming a big star and getting known and selling records. So for a 5-year-old, imagine the power of her thinking. If she was so young and she started imagining a successful future even when she was 5-year-old. So yes, he makes a metaphor also for sportsmen, for everybody. So the quote from Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. So yes, very, very important, because knowledge can be limited, but imagination takes you everywhere. So Jeff Keller starts talking about childhood, how we start to get our own vision about ourselves since we are babies. So he talks about teachers, about parents, that if we are kids and somebody tells us, oh, you're so bad at school, you'll never make it, or your parents tell you, oh, you can't learn, you'll never be a doctor, go and work in constructions. And Jeff Keller says that it's very important for us as adults to actualize and rethink our childhood scenarios, because they are no longer accurate. It doesn't mean that if somebody told you something, it has to be true. A lot of singers got told, oh, you'll never sing, you're horrible, but if you believe it, then you won't sing, and because you think you're horrible. But if you don't, you'll believe in your dream and you'll keep on pushing it. So yes, so Keller says that it's yes, just like the astronaut. Exactly. It was so important for Scott Kelly to not believe he was incapable, unfocused, undriven. So important. Exactly. So yeah. So he says that it's quite important to change the old movies, to change the old scenarios, to stop believing into what parents told you or teachers told you, and it's quite important to tell yourself that you can do that. So yeah. So it's also important to create new images, so to visualize everything that you want to accomplish. So he makes an example with being in sales. It's very important to imagine yourself that you are going to be successful in sales. So you have to also be relaxed. You have to like when you're visualizing success and when you're visualizing yourself reaching to a certain place, just use all your senses. Kelly says that we have to like include sounds, smells, taste, everything. So that's making you feel even better. So yeah. So a quote. Yeah, don't mind, Adam. Just I'm actually looking at the chat and I'm taking only the positivity. The rest I ignore. So Adam, just do the same. So that's very important to have control over the image that fill our mind. So it's very important that the secret is just spend daily a couple of minutes trying to visualize, trying. So it's an exercise. It's just very, very important to keep on exercising this thing. So Keller says a very nice example of Jim Carrey, the actor. So he gives this example just to show us how important it is to actually visualize everything. So in 1990, while Jim Carrey was still very unknown, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for his acting services. So he put himself like this check and he wrote a term of 1995. So he gave himself 5 years in order to cash in into that check. So he was so sure he's going to make it as a comedian that he wrote himself this $10 million check. So Keller says that Carrey managed to win that amount of money. So in 1995, he over exceeded 10 millions and now he's paid like with $20 million per movie. So Jim Carrey applied. So Jim Carrey had a vision. He wanted to become a comedian. So he wrote himself this check knowing he will be worth it. Like he told to himself, I'm worth $10 million and in 5 years I will be a well-known actor. So that's the power of positive thinking. So yeah, quite impressive. So so he also talks about a friend that studied in order to become a judge, and he did this thing. He wrote himself on a paper, Judge Robert Jones, and he told that he put this thing in a like on a stand or in the mirror on the bathroom. Yes, I did. Like Jeff Keller graduated from law university, and he was a lawyer for 10 years before deciding to go into motivational writing. And he explained his struggle with changing his career because everybody told him, how will you give up to those good money from being a lawyer? And yeah, he was miserable as being a lawyer. So he just wanted to make this change. So yeah, Jeff Keller, actually the author, applied what he's preaching, and that's why I love this book. It's not only theory, but the author actually did what he says us to do. So yes. So actually he makes like yes, so actually he makes also an example of a lady that had like a sticker on her car, and on that sticker it said, I have a lot of debts and that's why I'm going to work. So that lady was always in debt. She never advanced, and Keller said it seems like a small thing, a sticker, but you see that sticker and you read that sticker on a daily basis, and it really like shapes your mentality. So of course that when she sees that sticker, she is in her mind, I'm having debt. So she's always thinking of herself as being debt. So she will always attract situations where she will be having debt. So actually quite a significant sticker. It's very important if you have a sticker in your car or wherever to be a positive sticker, not to have like a sticker like I'm so bad, so I'm so poor, or I'm so like, don't have a poor person mentality, because that's how you'll end up being. So yeah, an innocent sticker in a joke like attitude, but that won't bring you where you want to be. So yes, so we are up to lesson number 4. Lesson number 4 says, commit yourself to something and you will move mountains. So yes, this lesson starts with a quote. Yes, exactly. Everything, it's very, very important, everything, to just put a filter. So the quote is from Alexander Graham Bell, and it's something like, it's very, very important, like there is a power, and this power exists and it functions only when a person has that state of mind when they know exactly what they want, and they are this is my phone, and they are determined to get it no matter what. So yes, exactly, those kind of relationships where somebody where somebody tells you, okay, you'll never get that done, or you'll never make it, or you'll always be like this. So yes, and it affects you, because being with those kind of people that always tell you you'll never be good, you're never good enough. So yes, that's why I'm saying that it's quite important to just to eliminate those kind of people, or not eliminate, but just not think about it all the time. So yes, commitment. So in lesson number 4, it's about commitment. You have to be really, really committed to what you want. So he says that commitment is something, if I have to make 5 steps in order to realize what I want, I will make 5 steps. If I have to make 55 steps, I will make 55 steps. If I have to make 155, I will make 155. So that's incredible. So yes, so commitment is connected with perseverance, and it's very, very important. So when you're making an effort, a quote by Napoleon Hill, effort is only receiving reward only when the person refuses to give up. So there was like a quote that it's impossible to lose or to get beaten by something if you never give up. So yes, it's very, very important to never give up. So Jeff Keller says that maybe you won't know how you will make a certain purpose, like how we'll reach it. You say like, okay, I want to have something, but I'm not sure how will I do it. But the most important is not to focus that you don't have the means. You have to focus that you really want something, and things will happen for you. So Keller says that when you have the availability of doing everything that's necessary to succeed, the right steps will gradually unveil to you. So yes, the doors will be opening, you're getting lucky. So yes, it's quite important. So he makes a personal example in 1989 when Keller started to write motivational articles. So in 1989, while Keller was struggling, he gave up to being a lawyer and he started writing motivational speeches. and a friend, an author, gave him a call and told him, what if you would write a bulletin or something like that. So he took his advice and he started writing this. Attitude is everything. And Keller has been writing that for 9 years, and he got a lot of readers and a lot of money from that. So just one single person giving you like a call, giving you an idea, and it materialized into something huge. So yes, Keller says that it's very important when you commit to a purpose to not expect a smooth sailing. Like, not everything is going to be milk and honey and everything. So you have to be prepared to have obstacles. You have to be prepared to make mistakes, to have disappointments, to have failures. You will be tempted to abandon your purpose, but it's very important, just like Winston Churchill said, never give up. So if you take yourself like a commitment and you really want to do something, it's very important to do it all the way. So if you really want to become a good writer or a good singer or whatever you want to become, a lawyer, you have to be really committed. So yes, he talks about another writer, David Baldacci, and he says that Baldacci, yes, exactly. So I think the capabilities of being a good sailor actually come from having a troubled sea. So David Baldacci was a writer, but before being that, he was a lawyer. So he just liked to write. So actually, in the first 5 years, Baldacci never finished one of his projects. So Baldacci wanted to become a writer, but he had to be a lawyer just because to have like money for his wife, for his kids. So what did he do? He knew that Baldacci knew he wanted to become a writer. He knew that he had to dedicate time to become a better writer. So what did he do? He had a job, but from 10 at night up until 2 in the morning, he worked on his writing skills. So he made the extra effort. So yes, it's quite hard. Imagine having a family, having a wife, having to pay the bills and everything, and you have this wild dream to become a writer, and you're not writing very well, so you have to work more. So what did he do? He made this little effort. Yeah. So yes, it's quite important to come out of depression as well. So after 10 years, so Baldacci made this thing for 10 years. So after 10 years of effort, guys, he got rejected for the book. So imagine working 10 years on a book from 10 at night to 2 in the morning and getting rejected. But in 1996, he managed to get a deal of millions of dollars for his worldwide bestseller, Absolute Power. And not only that, his book got into a movie, like a movie bought the rights from him, and the star of the movie was Clint Eastwood. So from that lawyer sitting at night dreaming to become a writer, working from 10 at night to 2 in the morning for 10 years, getting rejected, and then that's the power of a committed person. So he says that commitment is everything. what if this guy would have given up 2 years, 3 years, 4 years after? That book would have not existed. So it took 10 years, 10 years and rejections. So yeah, that's quite powerful. Dedication. So yes, so he talks about another friend, Jeff Keller, about Jerry Gladstone. So Jerry had his own business, American Royal Art. He was selling collection things. So he wanted to sell Disney products. So because Disney products would have brought him a lot more money, what did he do? For 3 years, he sent letters. He called the Disney. He wanted to make a deal with them, but Disney was very selective, and they refused him. They only wanted like big partners, and Jerry was just a small business, so Disney didn't want to have anything to do with Jerry. So Jerry persisted, and he got a really mean Disney director telling him at the phone, "You will never get a deal with Disney, never, stop dreaming," and closed the phone in front of Jerry in a very mean way. So Jerry keep on calling for years for Disney. So at a certain point, somebody from Disney got so tired, but so impressed in the same time by it's so important. He was so impressed by Jerry that he told him, "Okay, we will give you something. You could do something with Disney only if your location is in Minnesota or Massachusetts." But Jerry's business was in New York. So Disney was so sneaky at this. It's like, "Okay, I'll give you a deal, but you'll have to make your business in another city." So practically they did something to just get rid of Jerry, but they gave him something he could not possibly do just to get rid of them, because they imagined, okay, he will never open a new business in another city just to be with us, so he'll probably give up. What did Jerry do? So Jerry flew to Boston the next day, and by the end of the day, he signed a leasing contract for a location on Newbury from Boston, from Massachusetts. So actually, the next day he found a place in Massachusetts, rents it, and then Jerry calls the Disney guy, telling him, "Okay, I have the location. Now you have to sign the contract with me." So the Disney director started laughing, and he said, "If you had the courage to go to Boston second day and start a business in a new city only to get a contract with Disney, then you have to be with us." So actually, after a year, Jerry got approved to also sell in his location in New York. And at this time now, Jerry had almost 10 years with Disney, and his sales are millions of dollars, and he's the biggest art dealer of Disney art dealer from the world. So yeah, calling on with no with no shame got Jerry. Imagine, it's like the power of your thinking. It's the power, how much do you want it? So yes, another example is of Benjamin Roll, another friend, and he wanted to graduate from law school. He was 67, so he was a bit old, but he got rejected, so he graduated, but he never got admitted to actually practice. So he had to try for 14 times. So 14 times to get to what he wanted. So at 74, he managed to get a license to practice lawyer. Like, yes, so commitment. So Jerry won. Jerry with Disney. So yeah, amazing. So actually, Kelly, after this, says it's very important to be competitive. It's very important to be committed. It's very important. It's like he says, what if Baldacci would have stopped in year number 1? So Baldacci managed to sell his book only after 10 years. So yeah, very, very important. So you have to be committed. You want to do a certain thing, you have to be committed. If you want to achieve it, you have to, like, even if I'll make it in 14 years, 10, it doesn't matter. I have to, like, do it. So yeah. Lesson number 5 is transform problems into opportunities. So in every problem, in every issue, there is opportunity. So it's actually very important to not let yourself being beat down by failure. So any problem can be an opportunity. So yes, so getting fired or losing your job might just put you in a different situation, a better one. So there is a quote, you can't have diamonds unless you go through difficult situations. So yes. Okay, so he describes that it's very, very important to stick to a thing and to not let problems get you down, because problems are inevitable. So he says that problems actually help us. It helps us giving us a different perspective. So it helps you being grateful for what you have. When you lose something, when you have a hardship, it gets you reappreciate and reevaluate your life. It helps you discover your hidden potential. So maybe you don't know how tough you are or how strong you are until you're being put in a certain situation, and that helps you. So it helps you make changes. It offers you new lessons, opening new doors, and helps you build self-esteem and self-respect. So actually, when you manage to get over a problem, it helps you. It helps you get your self-esteem up. Like, okay, I did it. I overcome this. It's good. You feel good, even though in that middle of the problem you felt horrible. But after you overcome it, it's like going to the gym. Okay, it's so difficult. This exercise is so difficult, but after you manage to do it, it's like, I feel so good. So yeah. So next time when you're facing a problem or a failure, just don't give up. Don't discourage yourself. So don't let problems make your attitude window blurry or dirty. Just, that's it. It's like, yeah, it's normal. Just expect difficulty and just overcome it. You'll learn something from it, most likely. So first part is over. The second part of the book is concentrating or be careful at what you're saying. So when you repeat yourself an idea for long enough, it starts to become a part of you. So practically this part of the book is very much focused, just like I said about the sticker, on what you're telling to yourself or on what other people tell you to. So if you tell to yourself, I can't do that, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not rich enough, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not smart, it's actually becoming a part of you. You start to actually believe what you're saying. But so that's why it's very important to think good of yourself and to look like we all have flaws and we're never perfect. But if you focus on what you don't have or on what you are not yet, then you can't advance. It's clouding your judgment. So, lesson number 6, words make your way. So the words that you're choosing actually will shape your destiny. So he makes like a thing here, and it says like an order. The order is thoughts, words, convictions, actions, and results. So actually what you're thinking, you are saying it, and after you're saying it, you believe what you're saying. So after you believe what you're saying, you're actually going to do what you're saying, and then you have your result. So if you're thinking you are incapable, you act accordingly. So if you act like an incapable person, you're gonna get the results. And then it's like, it's a validation of what it's like when somebody says, I can't end up with a good guy, or I can't get that girl. And if you start to believe you are actually incapable of getting a good person, you'll act accordingly, and those people will not be with you. But if you think that, okay, I deserve to be with a good person, or I can get that girl, or I can get that guy, it will materialize. So yeah, it's very, very important to actually say it to yourself. So no matter what other people say, like, yeah. So that's why it's very, very important. So never underestimate the power of the words. So that's why it's very, very important. So Keller makes an example with when something got broken in his house. So it's like, yes, you've lost before you started. So he told himself, okay, I think I can fix this. Although Keller wasn't a good person at fixing stuff in his house, but he was like so positive about it that at the end of it, he's got it fixed. So he didn't like have to call somebody to get it fixed. He managed to do it by himself. So yes, quite interesting. Yeah. So actually he talks about pain as well. So if you have like a pain or something hurts you, it doesn't help you to always, oh, I have so much pain, or oh, this headache, I won't get rid of it, or stop focusing, it's just a headache, it will go away. But if you focus on that pain so much, people around you like don't like it, you're spreading a bad attitude. So yes, it's quite important when you talk to yourself and you talk with others, just use positive language. So he talks about one thing, it's very important not to ever talk about your purposes with negative people. Very important. So don't share your biggest dreams, your biggest goals, your aspiration with the naysayers, because they'll always disapprove it. They'll just crash it to the ground. Like, but look at people. Look, when you're talking to somebody, analyze them. What accomplishments do they have? Do they have their life together? What kind of influence are they on your life? So don't tell your. There was like somebody who told like, the biggest way to kill a dream is to tell it to small-minded people. I think Steve Harvey told that. Amazing quote, amazing saying. A lot of dreams got ruined just because they got told to a small-minded person who couldn't see it. No vision. So yes. So actually it's very important to speak your dreams, but not with negative people, and to get feedback, and to have like a good friend, a good co-worker. And it's very important, people, it's a team effort. You can't do it on your own. So don't go to the other extreme, like I won't talk with anybody, I won't, like it's just me and my dream and me alone. No, you need people, but you need the right kind of people. Sometimes Keller says even parents, siblings, friends, childhood friends, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife can put you down. and you have to like have a filter, because you have to eliminate those people from your life. Or at least he says if they're relatives, you can't eliminate them, but you have like to put a boundary. And if you realize, if you know, okay, I know that somebody from my life is quite pessimist and it has like a bad vibe and everything, I'll just keep myself from a distance. You won't reject them, but you know when to put a boundary. So yes, very, very important. So he talks about relationships. So he talks about those kind of women that always say that the good men are taken, or the men that are saying the good ones are taken. And so if you are single and you're telling to yourself that, you are being programmed to have unhappy relationships. So your mind is hearing every word that you're saying, and your mind is preparing you to prove the fact that you're right. So if you're single and you keep on saying all the good people are, of course that's why you are going to remain single, because you don't believe and you don't have a positive vision. So of course, or people who like try to lose weight and they say, I'll never lose weight, no matter what I do, I never lose weight. No, I will lose weight, I'll try everything. You have to have confidence. So finances, so he treats like finances also, like it's important. If you want to go out of debt or be a bit better, never say I always be in debt, or I'll never have, or I'll never do. So language is very important. You should never complain that you're being poor. So the people that always talking about not having money, they're never getting money, so because they're always complaining. Also, another thing, he talks about career. So if you're being asked where do you see yourself, exactly, Adam, exactly. So if you are being asked where do you see yourself, and if you say, okay, I don't have a vision, so I don't know, so okay, so over 5 years you'll be in the same place. You won't have a vision, you don't know. So you have to have a vision. You have to know what you want from yourself in 5 years. Or okay, where do you want to go? Okay, I want to go there, and I have this vision, and I will do it. And it doesn't matter. A lot of people judge other people when they say they have big dreams, and they look at them, oh, but she doesn't have anything now, or he doesn't have, or so her dream or his dream is just bollocks. So but ignore those kind of people, just don't do that. He also talk about health. So what I was saying, that it's not important, it's not, you can't just deny your diseases or your symptoms, but it's also important not to focus on them, because if you always focus on the fact that you're feeling sick or you have a problem, you'll just put more and more stuff on your mind, and it will get clogged up, and it will give you just pain. And yeah. So lesson number 7, how's your day? So the day evolves in the way that your mouth moves. So if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling like, if somebody asks you how's your day, if you're answering like okay, so not good, or you're giving that other person a bad mood, and you're also giving yourself a bad mood. So Keller suggests, even if your day is not so great or not, to just, I'm feeling wonderful, I'm feeling great. So that actually will happen, but you have to like not always complaining. Like there are people always complaining, I had a horrible day, my boss was mean, I had a terrible, I don't know, person in my chat, or I had, I don't know what, I got trolled, I don't know. But you have to stop that. You have to not think about it. You have to think that you had a lovely day, and to be appreciative to what happened good in your day, and to always have a positive answer to to the simplest question in the world, how's your day, always have a positive answer. Always. It's great. It's amazing. It's amazing. I have an amazing day. So yeah, that's a positive answer, and you're feeding your mind with the right kind of stuff. So smiling, it's also very important to smile, and it's also important to watch yourself, like when you're answering to people, when you're talking to people, when you're watch yourself, because your attitude is very significant. So even if you are not like this, you have to form a new habit. Jeff Keller says that he used to give mediocre answers when people asked him, how's your day? He used to say not so good. And he that's why I like his book, because Jeff Keller admits on himself doing bad things. And he said that he revisioned his attitude, he changed it 100 degrees. And he said that the reaction of people around him was, at first everybody thought he was a bit crazy, and because every time when somebody asked him how's your day, he was saying, I'm so great, I'm amazing, my day is fabulous, how's yours? And people were like, okay, this person is way too excited. But that's the key. Every day should be amazing, great day. So Jeff Keller applied the things he says in the book. That's why I love this book, because he actually admits even his own perspective how it got wrong. So he formed a new habit. So yeah, tell yourself, I'm doing great. There was a study that a happy person, so if you have a happy person in your circle, or a happy person it can transmit to other 7 people in your circle. So from all the friends that you have, all the relatives, everything, online, offline friends, if you meet one happy person, it would completely make your day. And you will make other person's day just because you got happy, and that's all. It's a circle. It keeps on rolling. So if you're being bumped down and grumpy and sad, you're transmitting that into the world, and it's bad energy, and it will come back to you. So why not spread something better? It's like a smile. People don't smile anymore. People go on autopilot on work, and they don't look up and don't look down, don't look right. Smile. You're breathing. You can walk, you can see. It's wonderful just by that. So yes, very, very important. So lesson number 8 from the book. The lesson number 8 is stop complaining. So there is a quote, problems, just like kids, grow if you feed them. So when you keep on complaining, so yes, I think you can. If you keep on complaining, and there are this kind of people, when you meet them, they always complain about something. I avoid them. That kind of person, when they open their mouth, they always say something like, oh, I had a bad day, oh, that happened, oh, I avoid them because it's horrible. So, but don't confuse complaining with problem solving, because it's different. When somebody comes to you and they say, okay, I have a problem and I want to solve it, can you help me? That's different. But when people complain, it's something repetitive, something minor, and it's different. So problem solving versus complaining, it's a difference. So yes. So, or self-pity. Self-pity is an acid that makes holes into the happiness. Never pity yourself, or never so nobody wants to hear about problems and pains, because it's not pleasant. Or just fix it for yourself as much as you can. So or people, it says people with weather, okay, it's raining, it's bad weather, but that doesn't make it a horrible day. So there's a difference. Yeah, it's draining your energy. So the secret of happiness is to count your blessings while other counts their misfortunes. So be grateful and find that you're being grateful for, and that's your happiness. So yes, a lot of perspective. So perspective is very important. So he says about a person, Eddie Rickenbacker, that's his name. It's a bit more hard to pronounce, but that's his name. And this person floated on a saving thing for 21 days, lost without hope in the Pacific. And he said that after he got saved, he said, if you have enough water to drink and enough food as you need to eat, you should never complain about anything. So yes, you have water. Like, imagine being stranded in the middle of the Pacific, no water, no food, and people are complaining about life when they have the basic things. So yes. So he says that complaining is far easier than being focused your attention and your energy to the things that you can do to solve your problems. So all that energy and complaining, if people would use it to actually solve their problems, would be so much better. Imagine, I always think so much energy into always complaining, always. It's energy, it's a form of energy you're putting. He should have he should have prayed for Shackleton. So yeah, exactly. So if you spend all that energy in complaining, it's not getting the job done. So yes, so exactly. So it's very important to be positive. It's always important to surround yourself with positive people. So the third part and the last part of the book, it's called Divinity Helps the Ones That Act. So it's about faith, it's about so there is a quote at the beginning: nothing happens just by randomness. What you want will come to you when you realize that you are the one that has to make things happen for you through your own struggle. So nothing will come to you until you realize you have to work for that thing to come to you. So it's a lot of work. Nothing happens just because it has to happen, just because you want it. So lesson number 9, associate yourself with positive people. So a quote from the Bible: a mirror reflects the image of a person, but the type of friends that that person picks reflects how he or she really is. So he talks about a guy, Mike, that spent a lot of his childhood years and teen years with a group of friends from the neighborhood. So when Mike wanted to do something new, everybody from the group told him, no, you can't do that, Mike. Oh, that's not cool. That's not good. So Mike wanted really to belong somewhere, so he kept on sticking to that group. Unfortunately, it didn't help Mike to succeed in his dreams. So Mike started to realize that that group was not a good influence, and he changed them. So he started to associate himself with positive people that embraced what he wanted to do. So yes, Mike started to build a positive attitude, and he has his own company of video production. And that group from the neighborhood that kept on saying him, you can't do that, you can't do that, those people are in the same neighborhood doing the same thing, accomplishing nothing, and always being the naysayers. You know, those kind of people that always say, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that, but they're like mediocre in the same place, doing the same thing, never changing. So Mike said no to that. So yeah, so yes, very very important. About, he also talks about toxic people and beneficial people. So toxic people will always try to lower you to their level. They will always put on your shoulders what you can't do and all the impossible things. They will bore you to remarks about failing economy, about problems, about your problems, their problems, about the problems about the future. They will talk about pain. It's like, after you have such a person in your life with bad energy, you feel yourself drained of energy, you no longer have life in you. So it's very, very important to remove them from your life. It's like, if you have a lot of naysayers, a lot of people that bring you down, just exclude them. You need positive people to reach your goals. Those kind of people won't help you. So yes, also the music that you're listening to, the radio people, it's very important to listen to the good kind of music with positive message, not like angry music. And yeah, so Jeff Keller tells us to evaluate our friends. It's very important to evaluate your friends. So the ones that are on your time have a very important impact on the most precious thing that you have. And the most precious thing that you have is your mind. So if you let people be on your time, getting into your mind with negative things, okay, just press Alt Delete right now. So yes, so you have to look around. What's around you? Is that helping you, or is that pulling you down? Very important. Parents, relatives, friends, neighbors, everything. Look around you. Put an objective perspective and see if it helps you. So yes. So if you have negative friends, ask yourself, why do I want to spend time with these people? And very important, don't try to save people. Don't try to, okay, this person is negative, but maybe if me, with my positivity, I stick long enough to them, maybe I'll help. No, it's their responsibility to help themselves. You'll destroy yourself. You have limited energy. You can't help everybody with problem to get fixed. You're not like Dr. Dolores. So you have to like select your people very, very good. What do you do if you have toxic relatives? So this problem is quite delicate, as Keller says. So it's very important to control those kind of relationships. You don't abandon your relatives, you don't refuse to talk with them, but it's good to limit, like, boundaries, limit your interaction. Don't call them several times per day, knowing that they will always depress you, always criticizing you. So when you notice that a relative is getting towards a negative subject, just don't accuse them of negativity, because that never works. Don't tell a negative person you're being a negative person. You're making it worse. So just try to slowly guide the conversation on a positive side. So try to be the smartest person in there, so just guide that. Or just limit your contact, just not to get under their level. Don't go on that level. So yes, very important. Also, it's very important on your job, on your co-workers. Very, very important. So yes, so relationships are very important. The right people, the positive people will help you. The universe will help you get where you want if you surround yourself with positive people. So yes, lesson number 10 from this book: face your fears and grow yourself. So do the things that you fear the most, and that fear will go away. Yeah, just find neutral subjects. Don't talk about your biggest dreams. Don't do that. Just don't go there. But yeah, talk about the weather and like finish it quickly, 5-10 minutes maximum, and bye. So quite very important to face your fears. So there are a lot of people that having a lot of fear, just because fear appears, as Jeff Keller says, this is our comfort zone, and this is like the fear. So the X is like slightly afraid, and this is terrified. The further you're going away from your comfort zone, the more terrified you will be. But the secret of personal growth is to go outside your comfort zone, just because that will help you grow. It's very, very important. So he says that a lot of people don't manage to get out of their comfort zone just because they always have this thing in their head. Will I be able to do it? Will I be mocked? What will mother say? What will my father say? What will my friends say? So yes, it's a lot of things. So a lot of people, Jeff Keller says, the causes of our fears, it's a lot of people, like common fears. They have this fear of talking into the public. They have the fear of being said no and being rejected. They have the fear of living from a job or starting their own business. Some people fear about giving a negative feedback, or they are afraid to talk with people from higher positions, or they just fear failure. So what's the price? What's the price that you're paying for being so full of fear? Your self-esteem drops, you feel powerless, you feel frustrating, you're sabotaging your success, and you're having a boring life. So okay, you are safe, you don't risk to face your fears, but that's the price that you pay. So actually, Jeff Keller says, is it worth paying this price to avoid short term, like the fear and the anxiety? So a lot of us are being willing to pay this price only to avoid the discomfort and the ridicule we could have from the other people. So actually, yes, Keller says about his experience from high school, and he says, so Keller, a lawyer now and a motivational speaker, in high school he was very, very shy, and he had a very bad opinion about himself. So he said that he never got rejected on dates. Why? Because he never had the courage to ask a girl. So he said that that's why he had a very boring life in high school, and very because he was so afraid that girls would say no and he would refuse them, that he never asked them out. So yes, actually he got lucky to meet his wife at his university, and but in high school he had this problem, and I like that he revealed this in this book, just to show up that fear can totally put like an obstacle in your love life, in everything, just because it's like, okay, maybe that girl won't accept you, but maybe the third or the fourth or the 10th will say yes to your date. Everybody gets a date, you just have to ask. So yes, a very nice quote by Miguel de Cervantes: the one that lost his fortune loses a lot. The one that lost a friend loses even more, but the person that loses their courage loses everything. Very good quote. So you will be put in a situation where you will lose so many things, but never lose courage. Never lose courage. So yeah, it's very, very important to... So how do you overcome fear? Actually doing things. And actually, when you start to do something that you're very, very scared to do, just applaud yourself. Applaud, like, oh my god, I'm so proud of myself. I did something I felt so scared to do. Just applaud yourself, like give yourself a round of applause, and just, yeah, because it's quite important. So yeah. So very, very, very important. So he talks about a lady, Dottie Berman. She was for 32 years, confidence. He was for 32 years a teacher of English at a high school from New York, but she wanted to work in show business. So Dottie started to write songs and to interpret them, but She's at 50 years old. She resigned from being a teacher and she started to create her own show. So after 10 years, at 60 years old, she made her first CD, I'm in Love with My Computer, a collection of songs full of humor and of inspiration. And she interpreted those songs in a New York cabaret. So at 50 she resigned, and over 10 years she managed to make a CD with her songs and perform. So yeah, she started doing that worldwide, so she got known for this. So just a simple teacher. So yeah, so one of the things I love the most, he said, don't be he says a thing that one of his friends, let that sink in, don't let regrets take the place of your dreams. That's so deep. So never be afraid of failure. Failure is lesson, failure is experience. Failure after failure after failure will make you get better at what you want. So failure is not a definite thing, it's not a destiny. Failure is a process. So yeah, so lesson number 11 from this book: go out in the world and fail. So failure is the only opportunity to take it over in a more intelligent way. Henry Ford. So I was impressed by the story of Sally Jessy Raphael, which is now a TV host, and she moved for 25 times while searching for a job. She got fired 18 times. She worked for 26 years only to be paid with $20,000 per year. She slept in her car and she ate food scraps from garbage. So she struggled, but she managed to make a career in television and end up being a TV host, and now she's winning millions of dollars. So, well, she persevered, she endured, she really wanted it. She tried until she got accepted, until somebody approved her vision of what she wanted to become. So, a quote by Winston Churchill: success comes from failure after failure without losing your enthusiasm. So, yeah, quite interesting. So, another thing about an author that managed to publish a book after, so he talks about an author who got refused by 33 editors for his book, and only the 34th told him yes. So after that editor said yes, his book made millions. So yeah, that book was Chicken Soup for the Soul by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. That's a very well-known book. So that book got refused 33 times before actually selling. So yeah, it's quite important to be devoted. Don't expect overnight success. So yeah, you have to be committed. You don't have to listen to the naysayers. You have to be doing everything that you can in your power to succeed. Be prepared for failure. And he says that you can be disappointed if you fail, but you are lost if you don't try. So yeah. Lesson number 12: establishing a network. So you can get everything you want in life if you'll help others to get what they want. Zig Ziglar. So very, very important to be to make acts of service and to be a positive and enthusiastic and to offer something in the world. Don't don't want to become somebody successful just to have money or just to be rich. Have a purpose, have a meaning. You have to provide somehow in the universe. You just don't like in only for myself, because you won't get it. That's not the way it happens. So a lot of things are very important, and he says that you have to create your own winner attitude. You have to participate to activities and organization, like find a charity, find somewhere you could volunteer, serve others. It's very important. Serving others, it's a crucial aspect for building and having a good network. So a quote by Eugene Bange, the ones that give are the ones that get. So yes, it's very, very important. So he says a lot about helping other people, doing recommendations, be a good listener, call people just because you care. So don't always call people because you need something from them, or don't do that. So yeah, meet people, go to seminars, treat everybody. I found this to be very, very important. Treat anyone like an important person. Don't treat people differently. Don't behave nicely with people that you think they have influence. Don't be a snob. So that's very, very important. Yeah, that's very, very important. So he talks about people that when he was a bit of a smaller author, Jeff Keller, he noticed that he talked with people, and there were people like that were looking at the corner while speaking with him, looking at the corner, observing somebody better dressed, and they were thinking, oh, I should go to talk to that person, maybe that will help me. Don't do that. Don't be a snob. Every person is different, and every person is worthy of your attention. Don't be a snob. Very important. I noticed people that sugarcoat other people just because they think, oh, that person will help me, that's a rich person, or that's so, like, don't do that. Every person it's worthy of your attention. You never know. So yeah. So another advice, be willing to overcome, like to go out of your comfort zone and ask for what you want. Helping others, you have the right, like, to ask, I need something from you, and people will give it to you. So yes, always say thank you. Always say thank you to people that help you. Send letters, send like Christmas cards. Be a nice person, and yeah, it's very, very important. So it's not the network is not 100%, so it won't help you if you have a good network but you don't have the skills. Combine good skills and growing and perfecting yourself with a network. That's the success. That's the real army. So he says, serve your friends and serve your purpose and apply, and that's your army that will work for you. So conclusion, change your attitude and you will change your life. So if you want to change your condition, start to thinking differently. So yeah, it's very, very important. So yeah, that's what he says, and acts like you are impossible to fail. So you can pick every day what kind of attitude you're going to have. So the only thing that we have is our own attitude that we keep on putting on repeat. So that's very important. And he says that go have faith in yourself, have courage, have perseverance to follow your dreams, and never forget, attitude is everything. May God bless you throughout your journey. So yes, that's the book. It's very, very good. I totally recommend it. It's not a lot to read, and it has a lot of good quotes throughout the book. So yeah, it's very good. It's packed with information, and it really helps you if you really have an attitude problem, because problems, it's not the problem, is not the problem is the attitude that you're seeing the problem. The way you're seeing the problem is the attitude and the problem itself. So that's the stream for today, guys. I hope you had a lot of nice time watching this, and that maybe you will buy this book and try to read it, because it's quite an extraordinary read, especially now during quarantine. So yes, attitude is really, really everything, and it really will help you to see problems in a different way. So definitely give it a go and try it, because it's quite easy to read, and it has a lot of advices that you could apply in personal life, in business life, in everything, so at work. So yeah, so guys, this is it for today. I'm going to end my stream now, and I hope that you're having a good time in during this COVID thing, and that this COVID thing will pass. And yeah, so yeah. Yeah, maybe, who knows, Adam, maybe, you never know. So yes, have a good day, a great day, Adam, Jay, and everybody else, and see you next time. So bye bye.